to you in part by Frenchman Hills Winery, a distinctive taste for all occasions.
Complement the best evening with the best wine. Red wine selections from Frenchman Hills Winery. Estate-grown grapes exclusively from Sentinel Gap Vineyards are expertly handcrafted into Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and a red wine blend, yielding a truly superb and elegant wine. Look for Frenchman Hills Wine in upscale restaurants and other destinations. Frenchman Hills Wine, a distinctive taste for all occasions.
Welcome to Q Up, and I'm Brenda Roberts. I'm going to offer you a unique opportunity no matter what you're interested in, whether it's better health or the environment, global warming, or the Spokane River, or what to do in the community as a volunteer. This opportunity is going to come to you through the Bioneers Conference here in Spokane, October 19th through the 21st. And we're going to discuss just exactly how you might get involved and queue up for this event. Patty and Jim, I'm so glad to have an opportunity as the sponsors and bringing this Bioneers Conference to Spokane. Why don't you both share how you found out about the Bioneers? And Jim, why don't you start and tell us what your connection is in Spokane too?
Oh, well, in Spokane, I'm with the Center for Justice, which is a nonprofit law firm working in civil rights, government accountability, and environmental issues. And also I work with the Community Building, which is a space on East Main that 4 different buildings that bring people together in community. And as far as Bioneers is concerned, I learned about Bioneers maybe 10 or 12 years ago from 2 friends here in Spokane, Denise Atwood and Rick Connor, who had been to the conference in San Rafael. And so I was lucky enough to go to the first conference I went to, and I can't remember exactly when it was, but I would say maybe the late 90s, somewhere in there. And then I've been every single year since then, and this will be the first year that I miss.
Oh, well, you're bringing it here.
I'm bringing it here, or helping bring it here, and so it'll be fantastic.
Patty, what is your association here locally? And then, how do you also get interested in the Bioneers?
Well, I manage a private family foundation called New Priorities here in Spokane, and I have the pleasure of having my office in the Saranac building. So proximity brings Jim and I together, along with a lot of other folks who've had the opportunity to attend the conference. The foundation I work for does environmental funding in the region, but we also like to do a lot of connecting between groups and people. So that's sort of our purpose in taking several of our grantees over the years to the national conference and building that energy to get folks together to make it happen here in Spokane.
And the Bioneers has been around since what, 1990?
1990. It was established or founded by a man named Kenny Ausubel in Santa Fe, and they started with the conference of maybe 100 people, and it grew. It was so innovative and so creative that it outgrew Santa Fe, and so they took it to San Rafael, to the Marin County Convention Center, which the auditorium there seats 2,300, and it sells out. It's probably sold out now as far as Santa Fe is concerned. And they have chosen to keep it in that relatively small venue rather than move it to a bigger space because there's a certain intimacy.
I imagine.
But what they're doing is, what we're doing here in Spokane is having downlinks to various.
Tell us the location here in Spokane that it's going to be at here.
It's going to be at the community college at the Falls, Spokane Falls Community College, on the 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Now, and you mentioned too that they have the satellite groups. And you mentioned that you had shared some DVDs. How does their information get out and about primarily through these conferences?
Well, I can speak to that a little bit. All of the keynote speakers at the national conference are videotaped, and they're available on DVD, as well as the workshops. So we have purchased over the years the DVDs of those keynote speakers, and had monthly potlucks over time to show those to people locally here in Spokane. So we built the energy, in that way, and shared with people what some of the speakers had to say, and that's been part of what we've done to
Get this
expose
grassroots
people.
going.
Yeah, more people than just those who had the opportunity to attend in California.
And Jim, tell me, some of the other interesting subjects, social justice and health and environment, and I mean, it looks like they really go through for a whole gamut of these innovative ideas and solutions, as you said.
Yeah, Bioneers doesn't concentrate at all on problems. We know there are huge problems in the culture. We know that there's that the only way to solve some of these issues is that environmental justice, social justice, and economic justice are all the same thing, are all connected. And so all the different speakers at Bioneers come in with a solution to a problem in their particular field, which can range from social justice issues. It goes to socially responsible investing. There's medical issues that are dealt with. There's all kinds of food and farming, different agricultural issues. There are issues dealing with all different sciences and the ways to deal with global warming, the ways to deal with fossil fuel consumption. And these are people who around the world are innovative in the ways that they do things, and it is grassroots. There's no government, no political involved. You will not see a politician at this conference. They may come to the conference, but they won't be speaking. Because I think that it's sort of like a lot of times government's the problem, not the solution. And these are people who have come up with ways of dealing with things that work and have worked. And so we draw from them, we being the public, draw from them in seeing the things that and then we particularize it to our area.
So Patty, would you say that it's going to appeal to just about anybody, from housewife to the professionals to the, even the teenagers that are looking at what kind of world am I going to be left, to help run later?
Well, when Jim was talking about some of the common themes, there is a really strong youth component to Bioneers. There's a strong food and farming component. There's a very powerful indigenous component. So there's certain themes and threads that run through that I think will tug at the heartstrings of just about anyone. And you kind of reminded me of one of the sayings that you hear a lot at Bioneers is revolution from the heart of nature. And one of the ways of seeing the world from the Bioneer perspective is to look at our natural world to find solutions. And there's a lot of the keynotes who are in the biological sciences or in green chemistry who are really looking at the natural world to find solutions. For instance, during the Katrina storms, scientists and biologists noticed that the 1,200-year-old cypress trees are still standing. Their roots stretch miles. And when they look at the shape of those trees, they're really spiraled. The branches swirl, and they allow the wind and the rain and the power of the storm to pass through them. So scientists are looking at those forms and those shapes and those solutions that nature's had all along to apply those to how we live as human beings and to create machines and buildings and medicines and different approaches to our problems by looking at nature to see how we can do that.
Well, we will continue and get a look at the keynote speakers next. We're going to rejoin Jim and Patty in discussing the Bioneers Conference coming to Spokane October 19th through the 21st, and the keynote speakers and the issues and the solutions they're going to bring to us. Jim and Patty, have you heard some of these same speakers that are going to be here in Spokane before? Can you elaborate on some of your favorites and who's going to be here this time and what we can look forward to?
I've heard several of them. Jay Harmon, Van Jones, Eve Ensler, and I need to take a look at the list to see others also. Yvonne Peters. They're fabulous. They're just